Good evening, friends, and thank you very much for being here this evening. I will have three areas to focus on during today's briefing, and after that you can ask me any questions on those three areas or on anything else after that. So let me start with the three areas. Those three areas are, of course, you've been there this morning for Prime Minister's speech. That was as part of his ongoing engagement with the Indian diaspora. Number two that I will try and run through is Prime Minister's bilateral interactions today with visiting dignitaries. And number three is the notification that is being issued for the Pravasi Bharati Samman Awards. There are 15 awardees this year. So let me try and run through all these three, and then I'm open for any questions that you may want to ask on any of those things or on anything else. As you are aware, Prime Minister's speech this morning was to set the tone of India's new government's engagement with its diaspora. This is the third major interaction that the Prime Minister has had with the diaspora. As you're aware, the first one was at the Madison Square Garden in New York. The second one was at the Alphonse Arena in Sydney, and today was the third major interaction. One of the principal areas of focus today was that he had delivered on what he had promised in the earlier two interactions. For example, he had promised on unification of the OCI card and the PIO card. That is done, an ordinance was issued, and it is now part of our law. Number two was that both OCIs and NRIs will have only one-time visa that is available for a lifetime. They do not have to renew their requirements for visa year after year. Number three was those of them who were not benefiting from either of these could avail of tourist visa on arrival. These were the three areas that he had promised, all delivered. So that was one theme, that the Government of India in its engagement with its diaspora is willing to walk the talk. It's not only talking, but in 6 months or less since the announcement was made, they're also walking that. Number two was that India is a land of opportunities. It is a land where we would invite the entire world to come and invest in, and the NRIs in particular. And number three was that there are some sentimental areas where we would like to engage the NRIs more than others, and those are things like the Clean Ganges initiative. We also now, Prime Minister has also emphasized that this engagement with the diaspora is not a one-off thing, it will be a continuing thing. So these were the main themes of his engagement this morning. Subsequently, I come to number two, and that is Prime Minister had fairly substantive meetings with three leaders who've come here. The first meeting was with the President of Guyana, Mr. Donald Ramota. In that meeting, they discussed ongoing possibilities of India assisting Guyana, and the Prime Minister has informed the President of Guyana that for two major projects that the Guyanese President is interested in, India will be providing a loan of a line of credit for approximately $60 million. These two projects are one relating to the East Coast Road. This is a road which is going to enhance road connectivity in Guyana. The second one is an ocean ferry. They require ocean ferries for their riverine traffic, and that's the second element. So these were the two major projects that to which India is going to contribute. In addition, the Prime Minister also informed the President of Guyana that apart from the 43 countries for whom visa on arrival has already been notified, The 44th country will be Guyana, and that notification is now under process. So Guyana will be the country, the 44th country for whom visa on arrival facilities will be provided. It is, as you are aware, a country which has a large Indian diaspora. They would want, in cases where they do not have PIO or OCI cards, to visit India in a more frequent basis. So that was the other major element of the discussion. A third element was that Guyana is keen on sugarcane. Sugarcane is a major area, a major product for it, and the president of Guyana was keen to know about facilities and the cooperative movement in India, how they can benefit, how Guyana can benefit this. And I understand the Prime Minister has suggested that he visit Valsad in Gujarat, where they have a very active cooperative sector focused on sugarcane. These were broadly the areas with Guyana that were discussed. Of course, the President of Guyana was grateful for the Indian gift of a cricket stadium as well as the lighting for the cricket stadium for T20. He said this has made Guyana the best cricketing venue in the region because of the facilities that are now provided for the stadium that was built by India and which has been lighted up by India. After that, he had a meeting with the visiting Foreign Minister of South Africa, Foreign Minister Mashabane. The discussion was largely in economic terms, and Prime Minister explained to her the various reforms that are underway in India and invited greater economic cooperation between South Africa and India. The major sectors that he outlined was infrastructure and deep mining, because South Africa is a leading mining country. And they have technology and ability for deep mining, which we could find useful. So this was in relating to South Africa in terms of bilateral relations. In addition, they've agreed that the External Affairs Minister, Srimati Sushma Swaraj, will visit South Africa in the first quarter to further pursue opportunities for increasing bilateral economic ties. They also discussed various other international issues, including reform of the Security Council, because both India and South Africa feel that this is the year which is the 70th anniversary of the United Nations. It is a good opportunity for India and South Africa to work together for reform of the Security Council. They discussed the BRICS grouping, in which both India and South Africa are members, possibilities of activating the new development bank at an early stage, and as you are aware, an Indian will be the first president of the new development bank, which is an initiative of the BRICS. Finally, the Prime Minister met the Vice Premier of Mauritius. He is, incidentally, he said his ancestry he traces back to Kutch in Gujarat. There is a new government in Mauritius which has just been elected, and the Vice Premier is very keen that Prime Minister visits them on their National Day, which is, I think, March 12th. Prime Minister said that he will work out his schedule, which has not yet been worked out for the rest of the year, and he will keep in mind the request that has come from Mauritius. Also, there was discussion about possibilities of greater economic cooperation, especially Mauritius is launching on trying to utilize its ocean resources. And their focus is on what is called the blue economy or the ocean economy. For your information, Mauritius has one of the largest EEZs in the world. So they want to utilize it appropriately. So the Vice Premier has asked Prime Minister for Indian assistance, and the Prime Minister has agreed that a multi-sectoral Indian team will work on certain projects and then visit Mauritius to see how we can take this project further, because this is a new concept called the ocean economy, whereby you can utilize your ocean or riverbed resources or seabed resources to the maximum. And India is also very keen to work with Mauritius on this. There were also other discussions regarding possibilities of cooperation in existing sectors of the civilian infrastructure, etc. That's what I have for Prime Minister's bilateral meetings. And now I can inform you that the President of India has issued the notification for announcing 18 Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Awards for this year. And in addition, one of last year's awardees who couldn't accept the award last year, this was Senator Lisa Singh from Australia, is also here. So there will be 16 awards presented this year. Let me read out the names and the countries for your information. This is Miss Mala Mehta from Australia, Mr. Isop Ghulam from South Africa, Mr. Satyanarayan Nadella from USA. Unfortunately, he will not be here, so this award will be in absentia. Dr. Kamlesh Lula from the US, Mr. Mahendra Nanji Mehta from Uganda, Lord Raj Lumba from the United Kingdom, Professor Nathuram Puri from the United Kingdom, Dr. Sanjay Rajaram from Mexico, Justice Karunakaran from the Seychelles, Mr. Rajamal Parak from Oman, Mr. Bharat Kumar Jayantilal Shah from the UAE, and Mr. Ashraf Pellara Kunnammal from UAE. Finally, there are two more. Ms. Nandini Tandon from the US, and President Donald Ramatar from Guyana, and Mr. Kanwaljit Bakshi from New Zealand. These are the award winners, 15 for this year and 1 from last year. Yes, New Zealand. Now the floor is open for any questions that you may ask. Yes, sir. Yes, please. Please sit down and ask a question. And as all of you know, only one person, one question. Always one question. Anyone else wants to ask? Yes, sir.
So there was mention of reform needed in the Bretton Woods institutions in the address given by the South African foreign minister as well. Was that also discussed? I understand BRICS Bank is an alternative which is right there for that purpose itself. But in the interim, till we have a BRICS Bank with the World Bank and other institutions, was that also discussed? And secondly, you mentioned about an early start for the BRICS Bank. Is there any date or something which is...
Okay, let me try and answer your question. Both are interlinked. As regards the possibilities of reform of the Bretton Woods system, both India and South Africa are committed to it. As you are aware, the issue is that while several countries have agreed to increase their share, and these have to be approved in their respective parliaments or their legislatures, and you are aware that there are issues in some countries about their approval. So that's where we are on that. That said, yes, the issue of how India and South Africa can, within the BRICS construct or bilaterally, work to speed up the possibilities of enhancing economic exchanges through trading in respective currencies did come up. This, of course, was in addition to what is the present trading system. The other element that came up was that we should try and start off on the currency swap arrangements which are already in place whenever needed. So these were the two elements of international trading or World Bank, IMF related issues that came up, but no time frames were set for these. As you would appreciate, these meetings are about half an hour in nature. These are meetings where we flag or highlight important issues rather than get into further details on this. But these are issues which are important for India, and certainly they were discussed. Yes, ma'am.
Is the United Kingdom included in the countries who have been granted visa arrival? And if not, why not?
Ma'am, there is already a decision on 43 countries who are utilizing it. Let me tell you, the effort of the Government of India is to, in a phased manner, move to a system where we can provide visa on arrival or e-authorization for as many countries as possible, if possible, everybody. We always have to make a judgment call on who to choose. Those who are responsible have several months ago chosen 43 countries. Now, what were the factors that went into it? Obviously, it is also traffic, it is security concerns, it is our infrastructure, it is not a foreign policy decision that you choose X or Y country. It is purely done on what we see are it's like a pilot initiative, it's the first phase. You will notice that as we go along, we will unveil other phases. And as I said to you, there's one more country added today, that was Guyana. But down the line, after this works well, after the infrastructure is in place, you can be certain that we will unveil for several other countries. Yes, sir.
I'm from Germany, and I think I'm the only one from Germany.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. But unfortunately, I would like to ask such a critical question, that is, Government of India's representative mission office does not give any kind of information on the PBD. Neither they give any information or any inquiries asked. They say, we don't know immediately. When we get the information from India, they will give us. What is the reason? Is there any communicative deficit between India and Germany, or a mission office old Congress government people are sitting, or is there any other reason why so information is not being given?
Thank you very much. You know, you are from Germany. I presume that internet facilities are available both there and here, and you can apply online. We are today, please, you've asked us your question, you've given a lot of your time to your views. Now let me explain my views. We are in an information age where at a click of a button, you need not go and talk to anybody. Information is available openly in the public domain for everybody to do what they want. You may have had a not so good experience. This is anecdote and we understand that. We will try and find it out, but let me tell you that there are people from several other countries who come. You do not need, the very fact that you have e-portals means you do not need to talk to individuals in those countries. You can directly connect, and that is our hope, that you will have a relationship where you will directly connect between the organizers and you. If you've had a problem, I regret your problem, but please, you are a wise man, and I would suggest that connect directly. Yes, sir.
सर आपने एक बात की,
आप ले लीजिए, माइक ले लीजिए, सब सुन सकें आपको।
आपने एक बात की कि जो गुयाना सरकार है वो कहीं न कहीं यहाँ वलसाड से चीनी को लेकर एक व्यवसाय को लेकर वो एक एमओयू जैसा या कुछ सहकारिता में कुछ करना चाहिए, वो क्या है, थोड़ा विस्तार से जानना चाहिए।
जी, देखिए, शुगर केन गयाना के लिए एक इम्पॉर्टेंट प्रोडक्ट है, तो वो देखना चाहते हैं कि आप क्या इनोवेशंस कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर। सुना है कि वलसाड में कोऑपरेटिव मूवमेंट काफ़ी स्ट्रांग है, क्योंकि कोऑपरेटिव मूवमेंट एक ऐसा मूवमेंट है जैसे सब जानते हैं गुजरात में अमूल मूवमेंट कितना स्ट्रांग है, लेकिन वो मिल्क सेक्टर में है। सुना है कि इवन इन शुगर केन सेक्टर देर आर opportunities of how cooperatives can grow. So Guyana ke president wants to study and understand, is there something that they can take home from here in terms of best practices that are being adopted in this region. Yes, Manish. Yes, sir. Since you were now, I presume you decided which question. I am ready to answer one question, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now that the ordinance has been signed by the President, how many days, weeks, months External Affairs Ministry will take to make it a reality for the people?
Which ordinance, sir?
The President just signed yesterday.
Which one, sir? Just tell me,
PIO
please.
and OCI.
Okay, thank you very much.
Will those clauses be the same as they were previously in PI? That is, that we also, if the father is from India, the children also can be this new OCI.
You asked your question. Let me tell you, this is not a Ministry of External Affairs issue at all. But I am not evading that question. What I am telling you is this, as the Prime Minister himself said, that when he came back, he realized after the announcement that there were some delicate issues that needed to be addressed. Once the ordinance is, I have already told you previously that what we say, we implement. We've explained to you when the decision was taken, the ordinance is now done. Please be patient. In the ordinance itself, there is a gazette notification which is done with that, and along with that, the date of the new regulations coming into being will be the date of the gazette notification. Usually, this is done in consultation with various other organizations, and for visas or for the main ministry is the Ministry of Home Affairs. The External Affairs Ministry acts as a connection to you for these matters, but let me tell you, the idea is not to delay these. These will be implemented within a finite time. I can't tell you until the gazette notification is issued because it will be specified in that, but be rest assured it will be quick and it will be swift. Yes, sir. Yes, I can't hear you. Can you?
You mentioned about the $60 million loan to Guyana for the ferry and the road project.
That's right.
So this would just include a loan, or this would be an opportunity for the Indian companies to be a part of that Indian system. Any update on that?
Yeah, it is an LOC. And an LOC always have some component in it which will be for, which will indicate what amount has to be from India. Usually it's always, and it's provided for when the agreement is signed. There are significant components which will be for Indian companies. After all, this is Indian taxpayers' money, and we will ensure that Indian companies benefit from it. But it will be a bidding process. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How many NRIs took part in this PPP? How many NRGs were there after that?
NRGs?
Gujarat.
I understand your eagerness to know on a statewide basis, but I represent the Government of India, so we do it on a national basis. They are tabulating this. When I come to you tomorrow, I will have the facts of how many. I do not know whether they are tabulating it on a statewide basis. State-wise, linguistic-wise, district-wise, this is areas of interest, I understand. But at this stage, we are tabulating the totals, and we will let you have that tomorrow. Yes. Yes, Manish?
First time in the PBD, we have a theme-specific session on people from Francophone countries. And there are quite a few persons of Indian origin from those countries. Is there a minister from any of those countries present here? Is there a plan for bilateral? Is there a specific plan?
Yes. Manish, as you know, the Vice Premier of Mauritius is here. Mauritius is also both Francophone as well as Anglophone. So there is a minister from Francophone countries. Also, the Chief Justice of Seychelles, who is one of the Prasar Bharati Samman Awards, is here. Again, Seychelles is one of those countries which is equally fluent, is Anglophone as well as Francophone. Yes, sir. Yes, there is no problem because this is a gazette notification. I will ask my colleagues, they will photocopy and give you. Yes, sir.
When, sir, change of topic?
No, let's finish these and then change of topic. I'm willing to answer all questions. Anyone else on the topics that I raised today? If not, yes, sir. Anything else?
Yes.
Yes.
The Pakistan Foreign Office has said that there is no conclusive evidence, no substantive evidence to prove Pakistan's hand in the terror boat episode.
I think you are aware of the Defense Minister's statement, followed by the Home Minister's statement, and the Defense Minister also indicated a time frame in which information on this will be provided. So please just wait. He's given a time frame in the statement he made a couple of days ago that he would bring into the public domain information which will provide substantiation for what he has said. So just wait for that. Yes, sir.
सर पेरिस में कल के हमले के बाद आज वहाँ पर धार्मिक स्थल जितने भी हैं वहाँ पर भी गोलीबारी की खबरें आ रही है, क्या रिएक्शन है इसके?
देखिए, I can tell, like the rest of the world, we are all shocked. Our leadership has condemned this incident in no uncertain terms. The Prime Minister immediately condemned it as a dastardly incident. The External Affairs Minister wrote a letter to her counterpart, Mr. Laurent Fabius, in which she expressed her shock. She said that India stands ready with France and its people in its fight against terrorism. Also, we intend to continue to work with France both bilaterally and in multilateral forums to tackle issues of terrorism. That's where we are. As far as we are concerned, the people and government of India are committed in their fight against terrorism, and we are shocked by what has happened. We condemn this dastardly attack, and we are there on the side of France and its people against this. Yes, sir.
So what specific anti-terror mechanism we have in France to see that we prevent such sort of attacks?
You know, such mechanisms, in diplomacy there are some things which are transparent, there are some things which are translucent, and there are some things which are best left unsaid. Tackling terror is not something that we need to put up front. But let me tell you, we have cooperation with France on this front. Yes, the last question.
Do you have any information regarding the Indians affected by ISIS in the Middle East?
This is a very difficult subject. We all have been working on it, but the situation is what it was when we communicated to you last, and that is, at this stage, we keep getting information in driblets from different sources, but we do not have any concrete information on what is their status today. However, we will not give up our quest to find out, because we have information from various other sources which have not been corroborated by us in terms of evidence, but sources keep telling us that they are aware of Indian nationals who are in that region who have been abducted. As far as India is concerned, we will never forget these people. We will continue to pursue it, and once we have corroborative evidence on anything, we will certainly share it with the families and with the public, because we do understand that everybody is concerned on this. But at this stage, I have nothing further to add to what has been our public position previously. All right. 1 minute. Yes, sir.
Chief Minister is coming tomorrow?
Yes, I have already announced that yesterday. They will be, I have given you the names of those chief ministers, and some are also coming at the ministerial level because of summer. But Mr. Rajnath Singh, the Home Minister, will be chairing that session where those chief ministers are coming. I will answer everybody. Please relax. Yes. देखिए, जो हमारा व्यू पहले था वो अब भी रहा कि दाऊद इब्राहिम इज एन एब्सकॉन्डर फ्रॉम जस्टिस. We have not forgotten what he has done, that is the Mumbai terror attacks of the 90s. We will pursue him wherever he is, and be assured he will be brought to justice. Wherever he is, at some stage he will be brought to justice. That remains our position as it was previously. मैं दो सवाल नहीं जवाब देता हूँ, एक ही. I don't know, if you believe everything in newspapers, you can believe this. As far as I am aware, the Election Commission is considering various options on this. They are to give their recommendations to the government on this. When those recommendations come, they will be public and known. Rest is, you know what it is. I will not say about it. Yes, ma'am. Last question now. Yes, please take the mic. Please take the mic.
सर कल अखिलेश यादव आ रहे हैं या उनकी कैबिनेट से होगा?
No, I understand that UP will be represented at the ministerial level. Thank you very much.